Which one's better, motivation or momentum? Today we're actually going to discuss what the difference is between motivation and momentum and how you can actually use momentum in your favor and motivation when you have it so that you can put the systems in order so that you get the momentum that you need. Because just like anything, if you think about motivation like caffeine, you take it, it literally wears off in a couple hours. You get all of the motivation, you get the energy that you need, and then it wears off and you have to refill and you have to refill. Whereas momentum is a system that once started, once set in the right direction, keeps going, and it moves through things that are hard because the momentum is already going. It's easier to navigate anything that tries to detour or knock you off. So we're going to talk about motivation, momentum, and how we can navigate this arena, because there's so many things that I do and so many times where you will be motivated. You will have the desire to actually do the thing. And then there will be the times where you don't. And you have to learn the skill of daily actions over daily feelings, because you can't decide if you're going to be motivated at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning to do the thing that you said you're going to do. What you can decide is that you are going to do whatever XYZ thing is that you are going to do. That is momentum. That is action in the face of things that can be the things that we aren't feeling like we're supposed to be doing. So, 2 things that I was going to chat about. And I have notes because this one was good. So, momentum, like obviously there's momentum in like the science and the physics world, and it's just literally mass times velocity, and that's not necessarily what we're talking about in this, but we're talking about momentum in life, where it's consistency multiplied by time. It's how often you show up and how long have you been doing the thing. So if you've been showing up and you've been doing the thing for 2 days, it is not going to feel like really much anything is happening. If you've been showing up and you've been doing the same thing over and over and over for 30 days, you are going to feel a lot more consistent, sure, and in a flow state. Because you've been doing the thing, because you allowed the multiplication of time to be in your favor. Now, if you are out of momentum, to get back into momentum, we set really small targets. You can change so many things in 1 week, 7 days. If you just set one specific task to do for 7 days straight, and that is the sole responsibility, that is the single thing that you focus on. And sure, it does not need to consume your every waking moment, but it does need to be something that you are without a doubt going to do for 7 days straight. And you build this habit and you build this positive momentum in the right direction that you want to go. And I promise you, day 9, day 8, you're just going to naturally want to do it because you've already been doing it for a week. And then you try for 14 days. And then you go for 21 days. And then you go for a month. And I promise you, it starts to feel really freaking good. And the motivation, you really only needed the motivation from the very beginning when you made the decision. And then momentum is there to carry you through. But you must have the consistency multiplied by the time. Momentum is a self-reinforcing loop. If you take one small action, this action produces progress. And as humans, we are naturally wired to seek out progress. That is how our brains are wired to work. We want to see little progress updates. And so if we can figure out a way to give ourselves a feedback loop, and what I mean by a feedback loop is you do an action and you get a response and you get an actual quantitative data point back. Did you do the thing? Collect the data, bring back the data. Now you have information on said input. What doesn't count is feelings, or like, it's really hard to have data when you're not, like, when there's no actual specific action taken, which is why setting really smart goals is important. Like, smart goals meaning you can measure them, you can have a specific action that you are taking, and the parameters are clear. Like, I need to do XYZ by XYZ time, and that's the input that you are doing to get the output, which is the feedback loop. Things that take long, like I used to work, this is why I had to shift what I was doing with my work, because the feedback loop it would take weeks. It would take weeks to understand if a campaign was working for us. And so we had to start tracking and measuring different things so that we could know if we were hitting the right target along the way instead of just waiting for the end result. So we had to learn how to track the right things and track the right KPIs and key performance indicators. But yes, all of that to be said, momentum is a very fun feeling once you start to feel it, and it's very addicting. Like, once you start having momentum, you want to keep that going. And so you'll do whatever it is. Now you have to find a system that allows you to keep doing that thing. So that's where setting really smart goals, holding yourself accountable, telling other people your goals, and telling other people your commitments really does make a difference. Like, I am nowhere near perfect when it comes to setting goals and keeping them. I set goals and I tell people about them because I myself know that if I don't tell somebody, it is really easy to fall back on my own word because nobody else knows that I'm trying to go after whatever it is that I'm going for. And so when I do things, I like to do them publicly, even in the face of risking failure. Because if you do it and you fail, you get data. If you just don't do it, you don't get any data and you don't grow and you don't learn anything. So I've just learned to accept that you may or may not fail at things, and it is okay to state what you're going to do in front of people publicly, and just move through the process, go through the journey. But all that to be said, momentum doesn't come from big wins. It actually comes from just not stopping. You get the momentum, you start moving in the right direction to the things that you want to do, and the big wins become inevitable. Alex Hormozi always talks about the fact that, like, have so much undeniable proof that you are who you say you are, and it's inevitable that you will be successful because you have an unsurmountable amount of an undeniable stack of evidence that says you've been doing the work, the momentum is there. Momentum feels powerful when you have it, but it's easy to lose. And so your ability to, if you get thrown off, if you have a bad day, if you have a chaotic day or a day that just doesn't go to plan, the commitment to still do whatever the task is, even if it's late, even if it's inconvenient, and it's just for it's just for that period of time. There's a certain season where you test your capacity, you test your boundaries with whatever skill or whatever thing you are trying to accomplish. Commit to it, like really make a commitment. And if it's crazy day, hectic day, like commitment is only as powerful as you completing the task, you doing the thing. So resistance will come. It will come, and it will come in waves, and it will come when you want to literally do anything else but the thing. But your commitment, you only grow your commitment, and you grow your trust, and you grow your self-esteem when you actually stick to the things that you said you would stick to. And so just do it. Just do it. However hard it is, just do it. And we build this habit, we build this positive momentum to doing the thing that we said we would do long after the feeling fades, and it actually helps us become way better at the thing it is that we were trying to do. And then the little curveballs or the big curveballs don't throw us off anymore. We can navigate through them. Once you have momentum, you go faster, it feels lighter, you make fewer decisions because you already know what it is that you're going to do, and your habits get locked in. Discipline becomes effortless. The work doesn't get easier, you become more efficient. And so instead of a project or instead of a task taking you 2.5 hours, it takes however many tries. It takes maybe 30 minutes to do, but only after you spent a month or however long it takes to get that process and get that system in a better, more dialed sequence, and therefore you're able to actually do something that used to take you 2 hours, 30 minutes to do, now takes you 30 minutes to do. It's not that it became easier, you got better. That's the whole game. That's the whole game. In everything that we do, you get better. It's not what you get, it's who you become. And who you become in the process is so much more sweeter. Because it's who you become. And you are building the greatest asset you can ever build, which is you. Because you can put you in a room anywhere and you can be successful. And you can do all of the skills, all of the things that you need to be able to do. You can add value to the room, you can help, you can add value to the individuals around you because you have skills. You have undeniable skills that look effortless only because you've been doing them for so long and you've been sharpening your axe and you've been practicing and you've been honing in your craft. The thing that most people mistake is waiting for motivation, waiting for the perfect time. Momentum is actually built when we can figure out and identify a clear step-by-step process and then just doing the step-by-step process. Now, we need to find a step-by-step process that has low friction, that can be repetitive, that we know exactly, like we're very clear in what it is that we're doing. And once you have that, the rest is history. You just have to follow the plan. Like a friend always says, stick to the plan once you have a plan. Now, making the plan is a step in the right direction, but you have to have somebody that has created the plan and done the plan and proved that it works for you to follow the plan. I don't know why people try to make up their own stuff and follow a plan when there's so many people that have done the thing that you want to do. Go find them, ask them how they did it, and then follow their plan. And follow their plan to a T until it works. Because clearly it worked for them, so it can work for you. And you don't have to wait for motivation to kick in. Motivation is literally just the gas, it's the spark. Momentum is the whole engine, and we have to get the engine running. We have to get the engine hot. And in order to do that, you have to put things in motion. You have to take the first step. Momentum is literally mechanical. It depends on action, and it depends on your movement, and it depends on you to actually just take the next step. Motivation comes and goes. Motivation comes in waves, and then sometimes it doesn't come for a long time, and you're not motivated to do it. But once you are actually moving in the right direction, momentum leads to the next rep. Momentum gets you to the next place. Momentum depends on your systems. Developing good systems for you is a really key component. You have to learn you. You have to learn how you operate. You have to learn how your schedule affects your mood, how your food affects your energy, how your environment affects your work. You have to learn how you respond to different things, whether it's how you respond to deadlines, how you respond to routine changes, how you respond to so many different things in life. Once you know and you're aware of it, you can plan for it. And if you know you're going to have a busy week, you can plan ahead. If you know how certain foods affect your energy, you can plan ahead. If you know how literal spaces in your home affect the very specific work that you are trying to do, you can plan to literally only do that work in that specific location. For me, that's been a game changer. Actually doing very specific work. If I'm doing editing work, I'm sitting in a dark room with literal violin trap music on, with my my blue light glasses on, locked in on my 2 computer screens, and I'm editing. And that is the only thing that I'm doing. I cannot edit in a loud, busy coffee shop. Now, what I can do in a coffee shop is completely different work. I can start projects. I can do Canva templates. I can do admin stuff. And so I've learned over time, if I have specific work that needs to be done in a specific environment, I gotta know what work I'm actually doing. And so that's helped me get into momentum and actually get the job done. Systems will always beat your feelings. Systems will always win when you're trying to navigate. Yeah, systems will always beat your feelings, point blank. Your feelings technically aren't part of the equation when we're talking about momentum. Let's see, motivation, like we said, is inconsistent. Momentum is predictable. Momentum thrives on repetition, small wins, low friction, predictable triggers. Motivation thrives on novelty, hype, inspiration, emotions, and we cannot control those things. If you aren't motivated, if you aren't in a place of inspiration, that is when you go and you put yourself in a place to be motivated, in a place to be inspired. That is when we use that muscle. But we don't have to do that all the time. And we obviously won't, because we'll get the motivation. Once you have that motivation thought, capture it, write it down, send yourself a text message, whatever the motivating thought was. Keep a running log, keep a system of things that you want to do, so that when you don't have the momentum, you can just go back to your system and actually start doing the things, because at some point the inspiration hit and you did have the thing that you wanted to do. So one is stable, momentum is stable, motivation is unstable. Both very important, but knowing how to use them, two very different things. Motivation is that spark. Momentum is the thing that carries you through. And I've heard this so many times. The world doesn't need more starters. It needs more finishers. And so there's so many people that start so many things and they go nowhere because they don't finish it. And I hope that in this process, whatever it is that you're working on, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever content that you're trying to make to work on for your business, whatever service or product you are trying to help with your customers, I hope that this gives you the motivation, A, to get re-inspired, but also to build the momentum that you need in order to sustain you to finish, to see the job through, to see the things that you actually said you wanted to do come to fruition. And so whatever that is for you, cheering you on, rooting for you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Feel free to go back and watch any of the other videos. I hope to bring some psychology mixed with some content creation tips and just overall things that have helped me stay in the game long enough to see some success, to see some wins, and to keep building what it is that I'm building. Building a community of content creators, business owners that want to improve their marketing, want to improve showing up on the camera, showing up and building an audience so that they can actually serve more people and serve the people that they actually really want to work with because they figured out their voice and they figured out the way to speak directly to the individual that they want to actually impact. And so if that's you, you guys can join the Skool community, join us in there every week, and we will see you guys on the inside. If not, stick around, subscribe to these YouTube channels, and I'll keep making as many videos as I possibly can make. My goal is to really master long form video, and I know I'm not there. I know that I am just practicing and just putting the reps in so that I can become a really good communicator and a really good effective communicator to articulate what it is that I want to speak about. So I'm putting the reps in. You guys can come with me along the journey, watch the process, grow with me. I'm not going to get it right all the time. I don't expect to, and I don't expect you to either. So if that's the place for you to be, in a place where people are just continually trying to learn and grow and get 1% better every single day, then you're right in the right spot. And with that being said, see you guys on the next video. Bye for now.